a lot of people experience having grandparents that are like soft and cuddly, but my gran was fierce. My dad called her like the dragon, and she was brutal sometimes with her. I'm not sure if I would call it feedback, but she would say things that would often create injury. So I remember coming to her and she sat me down. She said, so tell me about what are you going to do with your life? I was in chiropractic college and I was saying, I'm going to quit chiropractic and I'm going to become a messenger of light, or I don't know what it was. It was something really like crazy for them to hear. Like, I'm going to travel the world and I'm going to teach and share a message of how to live from the heart. And I want to change people's lives. Basically, I said, I want to do God's work. And she looked at me with this venom in the eye and she pointed her finger at me and she said, you will never change the world. Who on earth do you think you are? So arrogant to think that you could make any impact. There's two choices really for my personality. I either collapse to something like that, or the other way is that I used that memory as my fuel in every moment where I doubted, felt resistance, felt like I wanted to give up or quit. All I needed to do was listen in my mind to that moment where my gran said, what possible difference will you make? You will never change the world. And inside of me, every single cell in my body was, yes, I can. You just watch me. So for many years of my life, I created drive to do the impossible based on trying to rebel or prove my gran wrong. Now, looking back today, that was wise and unwise. Wise in the sense that there was really no other way I could have done what I did without that raw pushback energy. Unwise because it probably was a big contribution to why I burnt out and why I became unhealthy emotionally. Because if you are living life in defiance to a family member to try to get them to see you, so we either collapse around family or we fight them and say, I'm going to fucking go for it in my life and watch me, fuck you. So we can really push back energetically using family as the resistance to drive forward in life. And yet that burns the nervous system after a decade. There isn't a real sustainable way of being happy from that place. There's no internal joy. It's all, I'm going to achieve because you think I can't. So I did that until 2013. So about 10 years ago, I had to make a shift. My health collapsed, but also something else collapsed with it. I surrendered into my own drive rather than the need to do it for my parents or to be proud or to have my gran see me, love me, or whatever the story happens to be. A massive shift took place. It was at Christmas as well. I remember sitting around the Christmas table and I felt it. It just literally dissolved and it was like, enough now. And I could just accept my family for who they are, for who they're not. And there was nothing in me that needed for them to change. And it was just time. All healing has its time. And then and I then went on a journey of being sick for 10 years. As soon as I released it, my body said, okay, great. Now it's time to heal.